to Risen Real Investigative Stories Network. My name is Jordan Ochoa, and today's guest is Lisa Hansen. Now, we have to ask the question, why are there monsters hidden in plain sight? Lisa is the founder of Mothers Against Child Exploitation and POP program, which is Power Over Predators. Lisa, can you give us some more information about how to keep our kids safe?
Yeah, a lot of people always want to find out what's the biggest threat that our kids are facing today. And, we want to look at, is it human trafficking? Is it bullying? What is it? Is it the mental health crisis? For me personally, in all of my years of 20 plus years of doing this, the real threat to our kids is that parents are not aware of the scope of the problem. Because predators are hidden in plain sight, if we don't know what we don't know, then we don't think that there's a problem. And unfortunately, another big story just popped with a huge camp. I think it's one of the biggest Christian sports camps in the entire world, called Kanakuk, where for decades they have been abusing children. And the numbers are statistics, and the numbers and the statistics are just a nightmare. And it's just another story that we add to the ever rising crisis of child abuse. And it's because the predators stay hidden. Predators choose those places where they have anonymity. They choose places where nobody's going to look at them because people assume, well, it must be a good person. They're a counselor, right? It must be a good person. It's a coach, right? It must be a good person. Whatever position that they're in, predators choose those platforms because it gives them access to kids and nobody's going to second guess them. And so what we teach in our lessons, specifically in one of our lessons about how do you identify a predator, is they don't wear a t-shirt and they don't advertise that they're bad guys. In fact, they don't look like bad guys. They blend into their surroundings, and they use really effective skills to just gain people's trust, which is why, as a parent, it's not to create a big, where we're afraid all of the time, but we have really got to start using our investigative skills. We have to start we have to start asking the right questions, even if they're hard questions, even if it makes us feel uncomfortable. It's not about our comfort, it's about our kids being protected. So that was a long answer to your question, but predators choose anonymity so that they can get away with what they want to get away with.
And that's a really good point, because ultimately we're told to trust and respect authority, right? And so they're purposely putting themselves in authority figures, those trust figures that are ingrained in us, to just think that these are great people. We don't have to question it. And was there a program that they could go to on your website, I believe the POP program, that could really explain how to identify these issues?
Yeah, absolutely. So on the website, poweroverpredators.org, we have our free video lessons that are easily accessible and easy to digest for parents, for kids. Anybody can sit down and just watch it and learn the signs. And for me, it's a really important tool to use as a parent, because I don't like being the one saying the hard things. So there's a video that says it for you. And if you're like, hey, kiddo, I just want to watch something. I heard this. Can you help? Can we talk about this? Is this true to you? Are these things that you face? And your kids just want to tell you the story. And if you set the stage and you give them the platform, you became the safest person in the room. And that's, as a parent, that's what you want to be, especially when we're not approaching it to where you're going to be in trouble. You're going to lose your phone. You're never going to play a video game again. You're never going to have social media. You can't let all of these things that we gave our kids access to become what divides us, because predators have even bigger advantage now, because you're divided because of this, and a predator has access and they gain your kids' trust without you being a part of the conversation.
And has that always been a motivator towards predators, as they find a kind of a fissure in the family, ooh, what's really broken up this family? How can I be that confidant? Is that kind of their approach sometimes?
It's probably one of their most effective approaches. The most effective approach that a predator uses online is something that I can relate to. And since each one of us are looking to be loved, each one of us want to know that we're seen, that we're cared for, that somebody has our back, they will make themselves available to answer yes to all of those questions, right? And so I think as a parent, it's important to know that even if you're killing it as a parent and you're awesome and you've got this great relationship with your kid, a predator can still sneak in and gain access and gain trust with your kids. And so just that daily conversation is really important. It helps your kid. The more they're in a good relationship with you, the more they're able to determine when a fake is approaching them. And they'd be like, hey, this person's saying this to me. What do you think about that? Right. And you have to be the parent who's not going to freak out and throw the phone and throw it in the garbage and delete everything. You're like, yeah, that person is not, I don't think they're legit. Let's handle this together. Right. So it's all about you strengthening your relationship with your kids so that you can intervene and stop the predators from having access.
Yeah, certainly. I'm just kind of going back to like my high school years growing up here in Tucson, and I knew of a coach, that assistant coach that, preyed on one of my friends. I know of one of my other girlfriends that there was like these church ladies, like older ladies that like wanted her to come to an event. And then one other predator that went after one of my other friends while she was just walking home from work. It's like, I look at it and I'm like, wow, thank God, like I didn't have anything crazy like that, but it was just in just my vicinity, three ladies that I knew, three young little ladies that I knew were attacked. I mean, we're 15, 16 years old, and these people are manipulating. These are supposed to be professionals, they're supposed to be adults, and this is what they're doing. They're preying after teenagers, and I'm sure younger, but that's just what I've witnessed in my in education and stuff, and growing up. So I can't imagine what we have lack of cell phone, we have their little texting here and there, but I can't imagine what the kids are exposed to today with social media. That wasn't really a thing. We had MySpace. Right. So
yeah, I think too, the phone has definitely accentuated the issue, seeing 100% increase in child exploitation reports. But I think what's more startling, again, it's that lack of awareness that leads to our kids being a bigger target, is the fact that the average age, the predominant age where a child is abused is 0 to 5 years old. So those babies aren't using phones right there. And again, that is a form of anonymity. That is a platform that a predator chooses to remain anonymous because those kids can't communicate for themselves. They don't have the ability to protect themselves. A lot of them don't have their voice where they can form words. And so as startling as that information is, we have to be aware that the younger ones are at greater risk due to the fact that they don't have that voice. And so how are we as parents, how are we as people who have access to kids going to do everything we can to shore up a line of protection around the most vulnerable and the most innocent? Because I look at sexual abuse, physical abuse, psychological abuse as, I refer to it as the identity destroyer. If we want to know why we're in the mental health crisis that we're in, go no further than looking at the abuse statistics, because what abuse does to an individual's psyche, their belief, their self-worth, it just tanks. And the psychological part of it, outside of the physical part of it, can carry into the rest of your life. And if you don't get help, if somebody doesn't help you or come alongside you and help stop the abuse that's happening. So it goes a lot deeper than the phone and social media, because predators are very crafty. Like I said, they blend into their environment and they take advantage of the most vulnerable.
Absolutely. And we kind of talked about that, like blending into the environment. We touched on education. So education wise, how many schools have been offered this program, and how many have committed to preventing things to happening to our children?
Yeah, thanks for asking that. It's, we were in our very first school back in 2015. And as a side note, that very first day of classes that we did, we had 3 kids come forward, and they were legitimate cases. One of them was actually being trafficked by her mom's boyfriend. And the school was startled. They couldn't believe they had so many kids that were dealing with this, and that opened the door to where the principals and the teachers started calling other schools and saying, hey, you got to get this program in. It's really going to start helping protect your kids. So it opened up a lot of doors. We got in good standing with the Pima County Superintendent of Schools. We became part of their Healthy and Safe Schools initiative. So every school had access and permission to use our materials. We created the materials to be very user-friendly. We also created the materials to be a curriculum that a school doesn't have to go recreate because they're required or mandated to do some kind of course. So the 5 lessons that we offer in the student course is to help you cover internet safety requirements, bullying and suicide prevention requirements, healthy relationship development, dating violence prevention, anything that you're required to provide to your students. We've created the materials to be that for a teacher, for a school, so they have a free resource at their hands. The next thing that we did was we took it to the next level, approached the Arizona Department of Education and had a meeting with the superintendent there, and he approved the materials for the whole state. So every school has permission and access to this free program. The biggest problem is schools are not utilizing its availability. Maybe they just don't know that it's there. I would say that after COVID, we basically had to start over. I think a lot of people can relate to that. But after COVID, there was so much, the turnover was ridiculous. Just maintaining the relationships that we already had in the schools just became another full-time job for maybe 3 or 4 people, because maintaining relationships with principals, school counselors, social workers, and teachers is a big job. And when everybody leaves and nobody passes the baton, it became a huge challenge for us. So where we're at right now is just really trying to get back through the avenue of parents and making sure parents are aware that it's available to the school, and that parents are saying, hey, school, we have access to a product that will help protect our kids while they're on campus. We need to be using this. And so that's, again, it's free. Nobody has a reason to say no. And if your school says no, as a parent, that better raise your eyebrows. You better want to know why. Why isn't this being utilized? What's holding our school back from doing everything they can to protect my kid while they're on that campus?
Yeah, absolutely. And there are a few schools that have done it here in Tucson. That's definitely an amazing thing. I think that all schools should just be jumping on board with this, especially with their approval, just hearing the approval from, the top dogs and saying, hey, this is great. And not only is it great, but it's also free. There's nothing, no tuition, issues that we have to do or anything like that. There's no financial burden. So absolutely. And do you go and teach these, or you just give them to tuition, or is there multiple ways for them to understand this program?
Yeah, there's several different ways you can approach it. For the schools who prefer the autonomy of them providing the resources and them playing the videos and having the discussions with the kids, that's why we made it that easy. You just log into the website, you select the lesson that you want to teach, you press play. You can download the worksheets, you can download the facilitators guides, everything's free. You don't have to use any of that. It's just there as a tool and a resource. We also provide different activities that you can do with the kids after you've gone through these courses with the kids. So there's just so much there. We also scheduled it to where you can use it as bell work, because people are like, I don't have time for one more thing on my plate. I get that. But that excuse to me doesn't fly anymore, because these are the reasons why our kids are dropping out. These are the reasons why our kids are switching schools. These are the reasons why our kids are not able to function, where, concentration, memorization, all of this stuff that's impacting our kids. If we are not addressing it and giving them the tools to get through it, their education is just on standby. And so it's all interrelated. There's tons of research to back all of that. But the point is that if you take 10 minutes a day with your kids to talk about this stuff, that's it. That's all you got to do. And like I said, you become the safest person in the room, and your kids have somebody that they feel like they can confide in. speaking from personal experience as somebody who's probably spoken to 20,000 kids in my lifetime, it never ceases to amaze me how I will walk into a classroom of complete strangers. These kids have no reason to trust me. They don't even know who I am. But because the information I share with them is real, it's true, it's empowering, it's freeing, they will come and tell me their life story, and they will dump everything that they've been holding for however many years because they trust that I understand, that I'm going to listen. Each parent, each teacher has the opportunity to be that person to a child. So if you're a parent and you're like, well, maybe I don't want the teachers talking to my kids about this. Maybe I want to be, of course you want to be the one to talking to your kids if you're the parent. Absolutely. That's why you can go and log in. If you're a school and you want training, yes, we will train you. No, we do not charge. If you're a school and you just want the autonomy to use it on your own, log into the website, press play. However we can help be a resource, we will be. We will do the presentations for the kids if you want us. We'll come do trainings for your teachers if you prefer it that way. Or if you feel like, hey, I know how to press play, I got this, and you do it, there you go. It's that easy.
I love the different resources and avenues that you've created just to make it impossible to say no, in a sense. And if they are saying no, then you're saying no to that child, and you're saying no to that that life. You're letting somebody's life get taken away, in a sense, because I can't imagine how much that is destroying them from the inside out. So I hope that more schools are involved. I hope that more churches are involved, especially after you had mentioned the scandal that had happened with the Christian sports. And there is a lot of that, there is a lot of that. There's a lot of cover up. Just because you have Christian in your name doesn't mean you follow Christ, and do the things that you're supposed to. So I'm very adamant that all people are transparent, no matter what they're representing or who they're representing. So that's amazing, Lisa. So besides the many options for parents and schools and churches and whoever else needs them, what kind of sets your curriculum apart from maybe others that are out there? What is POP, doing so much better than some other things that are available?
I feel like the majority of what makes us different is all of it is based on personal experience, so real stories. And because I think the statistics shows that it's either 85 to 93% of all forms of abuse are preventable if you educate somebody. So first of all, that's number one that makes us unique, is prevention education is not being utilized. We are not providing the education that our kids need to get the awareness so that they can protect themselves or become an advocate for others. The other approach is that, like I said earlier, is the way that we present it is we actually will teach kids the impact of toxic shame as a result of some form of abuse. And when a child recognizes, I have had fifth graders recognize that they are in the shame cycle. When you just give our kids are smart. They deserve to know this information. I don't think that you need to be 50 years old when you learn how to deal with your trauma. I think because we know that so many kids are dealing with trauma, because we know that kids are still recovering from COVID, and not very well, might I add, recovering from COVID, like all of these things, it's coping skills. And it's, and I think the key is that it's just true. And so I love to see the light bulbs go off, because I will have kids go, where were you when I was 4 years old? How come nobody ever taught me the signs of a predator? How come I didn't know that an abusive relationship was A, B, C, D, E? How come, it's like that question, just like, how come? And I don't have a good answer for that, other than the powers that be would not would not take advantage of the information that's given to them. The other thing that's really important that we do is we have students that have experienced some pretty tough things that have been willing to share their stories. And so we use either some of the kids themselves that want to tell their story, we still protect their identity, and we also have kids that will tell somebody else's story. So as a kid, if you're hearing this story from somebody who is your same age demographic, you might have the same style or whatever, it's so much more, it's much easier received than some grown-up that's a stranger coming in and throwing all this information at you. And
Right.
I like to help parents and educators. I like to help anybody remember this, because this truth statement helps me every time I present, or even am working with somebody who needs help in any situation. Is your brain cannot believe something is real until it experiences it. And what I mean by that is that we know something, but the difference is knowing is different than believing. And so, like, I know 2 + 2 is 4 because that's what I was taught. But I
Right.
believe that 2 + 2 is 4 when my teacher gives me 4 M&Ms and I get to do 2 green and 2 brown, and then I get to eat them. I've just experienced 2 + 2. Now I believe that 2 + 2 is 4. Well, when
Right.
you put that with abuse, and the numbers, it's like so many kids that have grown into adults have experienced abuse. What they believe about themselves is tied directly to that abuse. If we
Mhm.
don't teach them that there's a different way to believe about yourself as a result of what you've experienced, they will continue to believe that they are worthless, they're something to be ashamed of, they're never going to make it in their life, they have no value, they have nothing to bring to this world. And
Mhm.
so going into that, I think that that's what makes the program so powerful, is we take that approach and we teach kids how that they are priceless, that what they've experienced does not define them, and that there's
Yeah.
hope they don't have to stay in that situation. And for the kids that this has not happened to, it empowers them to advocate for others. Because another thing from personal experience, I will have kids come up to me and go, my friend is showing all the signs of suicide. How do I help them? I know that
Right.
my friend is being abused by that coach. What do I do? Right? Sometimes it's the advocate that helps the person who doesn't have the courage or the strength, actually, not courage, just the ability to tell their story to get the help they need.
Right. Because I think for so long, people would say something, and even my friends that had experienced it, you'd say something and go to a counselor, and then nothing
Mhm.
would occur. Right.
Right.
Or there has been parents that have emailed me with stuff from the school districts, and they say, this is what happened to my son and daughter, and then we had to go to court, and we had and then my daughter was the bad guy when it was really,
Yep.
her speaking out. And it's just, people are afraid to explain what happened to them because they get so railroaded
Yep.
with everything else that has to do with things, and there's a lot of people with money and power and influence, and they don't like it when their T card is rattled. So
Right.
that's
Yeah.
very
And
unfortunate.
that's infuriating, and that is one of the main reasons why people don't come forward, is because they are afraid of what's going to happen to them as a result of telling the truth. And
Right.
I will get phone calls all the time going, I need justice. I want to seek justice. I want to see justice happen. And I can promise you, you won't. You will not see justice in the legal system. There are a few cases where people will do time. Some people will go to jail. Some people won't go to jail. But I love to tell people that the most important justice for you to pursue is your own personal justice, your justice of overcoming, your justice of not letting that define you, your own personal justice of succeeding, whether or not the system was for you or against you. We just had a case not too long ago where a girl was being abused by a coach, and she was the whistleblower. The
Right.
entire community turned on her and said she was ruining a man's reputation. And 5 years later, he was finally charged with several, if not 5 or 6 counts of child sexual abuse charges. So, she didn't ruin anybody's reputation. And it always blows me away how people get uncomfortable because, how did I not see that? Or, that person now is making me look bad because I thought that person was trustworthy. It's not about you. It's
Not
about
about.
the person who's being abused.
Right.
And
Right.
if you're uncomfortable, I'm sorry, this is an uncomfortable topic. We don't want to believe that people have the ability to hurt somebody at that level, but they do. And the numbers show that they do. So we got to spotlight the predators, take them out, and protect our kids.
Yeah. And I think people need to stop protecting predators. I mean, they get so
Yeah.
embarrassed and then they lash out and they, whatever. But I've seen it time and time again as people protect the predators.
Yep.
And it's just the most vile, disgusting thing that I've ever witnessed, where I'm like, this person would have nothing to complain about if that person just didn't do anything. So why is there an issue here today? Why is there any type of, even just angry eyes towards this person who is the victim? Why is that even a thought process?
I'm sure that there's some deep psychological answer that I could give you, but what I look at it is it's fear-based, and fear is a result of you're worried about your reputation. You're more worried about what's going to happen to you as a result of that scenario. Like, take for instance the case that's coming out with this Christian camp. The guy that was all the way at the top, it was all about his reputation. So he believed that he was better off protecting the predators, better off justifying their behavior to protect himself, like you said, to protect his pocketbook, to protect his reputation, than it was to come alongside all of the kids that have been abused by one or two or three people. Like, the numbers of children that were abused by just a small handful of people, it just doesn't make sense. And my personal belief is that they have just chosen evil. They have chosen a path of evil to protect themselves instead of sacrificing their reputation for the kids. Own it. Like,
Absolutely.
I missed the signs, or you know what? I made an excuse that I shouldn't have made. It was my fault. And the other thing that a lot of people are afraid of too, which I get it, I understand it. But again, this is why, as parents and anybody who has the ability to protect a kid, you have to know that predators are now using that tactic to train your kids to make false accusations against you. And so, man, you better know who your kids are talking to. You better know how our kids are being groomed to expose good people for something that they didn't actually do. But I'll tell you what, the truth will reveal itself. It always does. And you just have to listen, and you have to be on the side of the child, whether or not the child is lying. If they are lying, why? What is causing that behavior that's going on to where, because if you're a good parent and your child is lying about you and they're accusing you of something you didn't do, they are obviously in a very scary relationship with somebody who is trying to separate your kid from you. So look at it that way. Like, who is coaching you? Who is telling you these things? I've worked with so many moms that have been accused of something after their child has been in a relationship with a predator, and the predator grooms them to say, now that we want to spend the rest of our lives together, just go call CPS and say that your mom or your dad is abusing you, and then you and I can be together.
Wow.
It's that easy.
Wow. That's as a mother of a daughter, that is like the number one scary situation. I could never.
I know. That's my worst nightmare.
People like you are here to guide people through those situations. Do you have like, I know we were at the walk this weekend, and we were bringing awareness to child trafficking and slavery. And tell me a little bit how the other program, M.A.C.E, kind of fits into that category.
Yeah, so to make a long story short, Mothers Against Child Exploitation, we are moms that give kids power over predators, right? So there are several different forms of exploitation that our children are having to face on a daily basis, whether that be in-person or online bullying, whether that be grooming or gaslighting, whether that be they just don't even know how to choose a safe, healthy relationship because we're not teaching relationship development. Where kids are just unarmed in every area of their life, to where, as a mom, we are the most effective prevention tool, and men as dads are as well. I'm not just excluding anybody in this conversation, but as a mom in the classroom, I just kept thinking, I would ask these kids, like, have you told your mom? And they're like, oh my gosh, no, I wouldn't tell my mom. And I'm like, as a mom, I would want to know. I kind of started to feel a little guilty, like, why am I the mom that But it's because, like I said, we had that conversation and I became that safe person. And every mom can be that. Every dad can be that. Every teacher can be that. So the whole Moms Against Child Exploitation has just given us opportunities as mothers to implement our circles of influence and make sure that we are protecting our kids. We are teaching kids the signs of predators, and we are letting kids know that they have the power. Predators like to make you believe that you don't. And as adults, we're like, oh, I don't want to teach the word predator to my kid. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Yeah. It's like you don't put them in shark-infested water and say, figure it out. You're like, don't go in that water. There's predators in there, right? So there's just got to be a shift in our mindset.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we've become so sensitive to words as a society that it's like, yeah, it's a word and it's a bad word, but we need to know what it is. And that's okay. Like, I appreciate you just kind of spearheading that over there. Cause yeah. Wow, Lisa, you are absolutely incredible. And I was very lucky to have met you, a few months ago now. We had lunch and we were just able to talk about this. And it was such an eye-opening experience and lunch that I had with you that I was like, other people need to know about this. Other people need to be informed because we are literally having this amazing information. And if we don't take advantage of it, then we're letting our kids out to the world where these monsters exist. And I would encourage every parent, every pastor, every church employee, every congregation, every school board, every admin, whoever you are, if you are around kids or kids or you just want to protect kids in general, this is the program to do, the POP program. So poweroverpredators.org is where we can find this program. We can, it sounds like you can also become a M.A.C.E, a Mothers Against Child Exploitation advocate too, right? You can kind of sign up for that there. I just submitted my paperwork, so I wanted to make sure I was submitting everything correctly there. But I appreciate you more than anything, Lisa, and thank you so much for the opportunity to interview you and understand this program that can change the lives of so many vulnerable children in our Arizona and whole nation, honestly. So thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And let me leave everybody with one encouraging number to keep in their head. A lot of times we feel overwhelmed. Our kids are smarter than we are. The predators seem smarter than we are. That seems to be too big of an issue. But, they would say today, the numbers are at any given time, there's 500,000 predators online just going after your kids. And that's a horrifying number, right? Mm-hmm. But there's 85 million moms. Do the numbers, figure that out. We are much bigger than they are. And if we come together, we have community, we have each other's backs, we're supporting each other's as moms. We're even moms who've experienced our own abuse story and we haven't talked to anybody. That's what this community is for. Not just to protect our kids, to come alongside each other. And there's nothing more exciting than that when women get together and we find a common ground, and that is protecting kids. And so again, there's way more of us than there are of them. And I just hope that you'll join the movement.
Absolutely. And I believe the slogan is fight like a mother.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So we will fight like mothers. I love that. So, all right. Thank you, Lisa. Have a lovely rest of your day. And thank you for joining me on Risen, Real Investigative Stories Network, the stories that matter to our community.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me.